Because before somebody tells you you're not giving your bike enough gas, you need to check for this first. All right, what's up guys? In today's video, I'm gonna teach you how to wheelie.
Call it how it is. I promise it's swag.
More specifically, on a stunt bike that's already set up for it. I'm in a lot. I'm not out on the highway. You know, you can use these same techniques when it comes to wheeling a stock bike. Okay, but you know, the basics are going to be the same. So real quick, disclaimer. I'm no expert. I've had this video requested a bunch of times, and the reason that I honestly haven't come through with that request is because I wanted to make sure that I was, you know, well-rounded enough in wheelies to teach other people how to do it, because you can't teach people something that you don't understand yourself. Moving on, I'm going to go over a lot of the basics with you guys, and I'm going to show you some of the, I don't know, wheelie forms that I do, and a couple of do's and don'ts. So to start off with, if your front wheel is not coming up, trust me, the first thing you should not do is give it more gas. I've seen too many wheelie videos and tutorials of people like, oh well, if it's not coming up, you're not giving it enough gas. Which may be the case, but you need to make sure it's not a couple of other things before you resort to that, because you're going to loop your bike out. If there's anything you need to make sure of, it's to cover your brake. I don't care if you're riding with a handbrake, a foot brake, whatever. You need to train yourself from the first time you go to clutch up your bike, that if you ever feel panicked, or if you ever feel like, man, this is going bad, your brake is the answer. That is the only thing that's going to keep you from looping your bike out. Nothing else is going to save you, okay? Because in your mind, what you need to understand is that when shit goes bad, the best reaction is not to take your feet off the pegs and bail on the bike. Don't do that. Trust me when I say don't do that. Okay, you need to learn your brake first. If anybody ever tells you throttle control is more important than brake control in wheelies, tell them they're stupid. Okay, I'm just being flat out with you, because the brake's the only thing that's going to save your ass at the end of the day. The second thing, also very important, is covering your clutch. Because when things do go bad and you smash that brake and you drop that wheelie down real quick, if you're not ready to grab that clutch, when that front wheel hits the ground, you're gonna whiskey throttle. You could anyways, you might not, but probably, because I've seen it happen a bunch, I've done it myself, you're gonna whiskey throttle, and then the bike is gonna fly out from under you, or it's gonna drag you down the road or something. Cover your clutch. Here's what we're gonna do. This is really, really important, and this is gonna save you a lot in the long run, okay? So where I'm gonna start, if you're on a stunt bike, a 636, 3500 is what you're hunting for. Okay, this is important because my foot brake is covered right now. I'm gonna make sure that that foot brake is covered. My foot is never gonna be to the side of the pedal or anything like that, because when you panic, you don't need to try to find the pedal. Because if you can't find the pedal, your mind's gonna tell you, time to jump off, and that's not what you wanna do. Your first wheelies are gonna look just like this. I'm not a fan of sit downs. That was how I first started, and I feel personally like it was easier for me to learn in staggered stand-ups. I felt like I had a little bit more control of the bike, and I wasn't right on it like this. You know, it made me a little more comfortable to be away from it. So here's what we're doing. I'm picking me a nice spot. I got my clutch held in, my brake covered, and your first wheelies are going to look just like this. Not like that. I didn't let the clutch out quick enough. Your first wheelies are going to look like that. But here's what you need to practice. Don't worry about getting the front wheel up high right off the bat. That does not need to be your initial concern. Trust me when I say it. Don't worry about getting the front wheel high. How I want you guys to practice is brake control. Do little clutch ups, little shit wheelies, and practice mashing the brake. Practice over and over and over. Clutching up, break it down. Clutch it up, break it down. Your first few ones are going to look just like that. You're going to pop it up a little bit, and then you're going to bog your bike out a little bit, grabbing the brake. Okay, and you're going to have to learn to feather the brake over time, because if you don't, you're going to mousetrap yourself. But the point here is that you're instilling it in your mind, and you're making it muscle memory to keep that brake. hear that? My bike came up, and before I even cared about the front wheel getting high, mashed it down with the brake. And that right there, once you do that and it's muscle memory, you're good. Because I'm going to tell you guys, stunt riding is like 80%, maybe 70% motor skill, and then like 30% just balls. Tiny clutch ups, break it down. Okay, once you feel good about that, once you feel like, man, I can cover my brake, here's where we start working on getting that front wheel a little higher every time. Don't get frustrated, don't go to the lot, don't go out on the highway and try to get your bike to balance point in the first day. Please don't do that. Do not do that. Those little wheelies like that, if you do that for your first couple of weeks, great, you're doing really good. Go back and watch my first video when I rode this bike in the lot for the first time and watch how trashy it was, and then just understand that that's part of the process. Clutch up. You heard my bike bogging out. I stayed in the throttle on purpose to let you know you can hear when I'm using the brake. Next is getting the front wheel higher. This is right here. This is something that I don't know that I've seen in any other tutorials, but something that's important. Because before somebody tells you you're not giving your bike enough gas, you need to check for this first. Something that is a mistake that's made a lot is people think that when you clutch up, you're just going, you're gassing your bike for a second, and then as soon as you let the clutch out, you're chopping the throttle. I did that for a really long time, and then I finally understood that that's wrong, because I was giving it more gas, and then dumping the clutch, and it was getting the bike up really high really quick and then slamming it back down, and it was terrifying. What you need to do is follow through with the clutch. You need to gas, clutch up, and hold the gas to balance point. See what I did just there? I held the gas. It's not that you're not giving it enough gas, you're just not riding the throttle up to where you need to go. The moment that you're chopping the throttle is way too soon, and it might feel sketchy at first, that's fine. But what you need to understand is that you're not messing up in terms of, you know, like you're not riding, that you're not giving enough gas. You just need to ride it up. Get past BP a little bit, learn to grab that brake when you feel uncomfortable. Behind balance point, slowing her down, tapping the brake, get below, come back. See what I'm saying? Your brake gets used a lot, especially when you get closer to balance point. So practice that next. Once you're comfortable with that brake, once you say, I'm good with my brake, man, now I need to try to get the front wheel higher. Then it's time to start riding that throttle on up. Right now I'm idling at 3,500. I guarantee you I'm only clutching up to every bit of 5,000 whenever I'm doing these wheelies. And that's it. I'm 5,000 and I'm riding it up. Little brake to keep it down. And that's it. But a proper understanding of everything in stunt riding will get you places. Proper understanding and seat time are the only two things. And that's all you have to do, and the next thing you know, your wheelies will be getting higher and higher. Another thing is just a point of reference. So how do you know when you're at balance point? One, you feel it. The bike gets this really weightless feeling, like, you know, when you ride that throttle up, it's to the point to when you feel like, okay, more throttle and it's going to get bad. The parking lot took me there, so I went. Balance point, as a good reference, on most bikes, is when your forks are parallel to the ground. BP right there. You see how flat the forks are? They're basically parallel with the ground. And that's what you're hunting for. I know there's a lot of wheelie tutorials, and there's a lot of tutorials by guys that are a lot better than me, but you may have not have seen those, and who knows, there may be something that you pick up from my video that you might not from them. It's not to try to steal a spotlight from anybody, but you know, it's just little things that I know helped me a lot. Other than that, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Let me know if this is the kind of video you want to see more often so I can practice different things. Because I'm all about getting better at this, you know, and I'm all about learning and all that. This channel's kind of been based on that ever since I made it. Was like, here's where I started, here's where I am now, here's where I'm trying to go. So, you know, and I appreciate everybody's support so far. I've got a lot of subscribers for what I thought I would ever have. So we're gonna keep it rolling.